Welcome, my name is Colleen Tauke and I'm a sewing specialist here at Fons & Porter. In this Sew Easy tutorial, I'm going to show you how to trim with Bloc Loc rulers. You can see that there is a quilt behind me that has all kinds of really interesting angles in it, and these tools are devised so that you can oversize your blocks and then trim them perfectly, and I think you'll enjoy them. If you'd like to join me here on the sewing surface, we're going to do the first block, which they call a kite in a square. And very similar piecing that we've maybe seen before, but this one comes with a set of templates for cutting the kite shape and its companion pieces. And they are oversized, and you can see here as we put this together, I'll just lay it on the work surface here, that the oversizing then allows you for trimming down. These are great tools if you're sewing maybe with a group. Everybody's piecing is not exactly the same, but this would ensure that if you're going to swap blocks or work together as a joint effort to make a quilt, all the blocks would be the same size when you're done. So you would simply join pieces. They are engineered so that you've got a blunted corner here, so your 1/4 inch seam, press outward, add the second side. You can only add one at a time, and 1/4 inch seam and press out, and you get this piece here. Now I'll show you how you can go in then and press your pieces or trim your pieces with these wonderful tools. The Bloc Loc tools have a groove created on the bottom side of the template, and they direct you to press your seam allowances in a certain direction, so follow the instructions that come with the tools. But the nice part is when these are laid on the blocks, they slide right into position, right up against the seam allowance so that your block is perfect. And then you can come in and trim 2 sides at once, and then simply rotate, and you can trim the second 2 sides. It also prevents any slipping because it's locked on to the seam allowances, so you don't get the shift that you would with just using the 4.5 or 6.5 ruler off of your sewing center. It stays in place. So even if you have problems with dexterity, or you're working with a young quilter who has a hard time holding on to the tool and trying to cut, this is a great tool for them because it locks in place so nicely. So that is the kite in a square, every time perfect. Then we have a very common block that we use, triangle squares like this. When we're putting pieces together, we were working on bias edges, things slide around. When we get distortion from the iron, we always get to the point when we're putting our pieces together and say, oh, it's not quite right. These tools, again, are created, follow the instructions for the direction to press your seam allowance and how to place the tool, but it will float right on and lock up against that seam allowance. Even if that seam has been distorted by the iron, if you push it in there hard, it will straighten out that seam allowance and give you that chance to get perfect blocks. So what I'm going to do is come in here, I'm going to slide, rotate my mat here so I can safely stitch this, or I'll trim it. These come in different sizes, so refer to, I want to make this into a perfect 2-inch square, so I can slide it back, get that 2-inch, making sure that the 2-inch line actually floats on top of the block. Now the nice part about that lock on that seam there is that you can even then twist the tool, holding it up against that seam allowance, and never have to take it off completely. And so then it can be slid in another direction. I over-rotated there, I guess, just a little bit so that I can come back, match up for my 2-inch perfect placement, and trim away the last 2 sides, having perfect triangle squares when I'm finished. The last one in this little series of demos is a very common block that a lot of us have seen, and this is created. It does have a couple of templates for your cutting, so it has the centerpiece, its companions, and it will step you through the instructions on how those are cut. But I've got then pieces that are engineered with an angle cut at the bottom of my pyramid shape there. It's companion pieces, and I can come in and perfectly line up pieces here for piecing. By that engineered corner allows me to have perfect seaming. Do the same with the other side. Again, engineered corner for perfection there. And it's oversized just a bit, and I'll show you how to trim then with the third piece that comes in that set. There's one, the triangle and a square, they call it. And again, the seam allowances are pressed toward the outside so that this tool, again, with grooves on both sides, can be slid up into that pyramid shape and trim two sides, rotate that block, trim the other two sides, and have perfect piecing. Never thought your patchwork could look so great, did you? If you'd like to see more of our Sew Easy techniques, please visit our website. Thanks for joining me today.